Welcome everyone to another edition of the Elitist Gamer. This is your host Epix911. What blew me away the other day is I was looking at my shelf, and you can see I got a shit ton of games here, and future episodes I'm going to show you some of my library. I've got pretty good full complete libraries, probably about 60, 70 PC games, games going back to my Commodore and Amiga days. One of the things that struck me the other day was seeing how skimpy game boxing, game art, game manuals, basically accompanying documents in a game, how slim pickings it's become. And I broke my ankle, or I'd show you the haul that I have downstairs. I've got original stuff, because one of the masters, fucking absolute masters, was Richard Garriott and Origin Systems. The Ultima series. If any of you played the Ultima series back in the 80s, fantastic. Cloth maps, rune stones, pentagrams, notepads. Seriously, like a cloth map. A lot of what you would consider a collector's edition game now, and granted, some collector's edition, like I'm looking at my mighty Skyrim Dragon up there, fantastic. And yeah, that wouldn't have been standard back then, but a lot of the other collector's editions, like certainly Etrian Odyssey 4 that I got collector's edition for, little art book, still no manual, that stuff was standard. So that's, and granted, the price, you could argue, well, games were a little more expensive then, which is true. Inflation wise they were, because stuff like Diablo cost $69 or 66 I remember paying at EB here in Canada. So let's just take a quick look. I want to show you guys some stuff. So I couldn't, like I said, grab the Ultima series, but I did find some 1990s games. So here's Diablo, and look at that honking massive freaking box. It's like 12 inches tall, 6 inches wide, at least an inch and a half thick. Fucking massive, right? Massive game too, but check out what came inside. So aside from all your propaganda material, and we can just flick through this pretty quick, check this out. This is fucking cool, eh? This is AT&T WorldNet service. You gotta remember, this is 1995. This was like the first BattleNet game, or World Warcraft, or Warcraft 2 maybe. I'd have to check. But anyways, in the infancy, when a lot of people didn't have fucking high-speed modems, you were still doing dial-ups, 14.4, right? Okay, 9600 baud modems. Because I got my ADSL. I was one of the first in my city. I think it was 1995, Multimedia Gateway, which was an ADSL connection. But anyways, here's what I'm talking about. Check that out. Diablo manual. Color. Glossy. Beautiful pages. In my opinion, this is 10 fucking times better than the Etrian Odyssey art book, because every page, every single page, has awesome art. Look at this, The Fall of Azul. I mean, that's right out of a John Buscema, Ernie Chan, Conan comic. That's just high quality, awesome fucking art. 69 pages. 69 fucking pages, and everything is in here. How to play the game, everything, just amazing. And you got to remember, it works with RPGs, because RPGs really, for a lot of the PC RPGs or CRPGs, they were basically tabletop role-playing games in computer form, and nothing represented that better than Neverwinter Nights, which was essentially tabletop D&D in game form. And here's the manual. Check this out. This is Neverwinter Nights. It's got the spiral binding. 216 pages, or 210 pages, including 50 pages on how to use the tool set. Remember when they actually bundled that in? And I'd love to hear your guys' comments on how stuff used to be bundled. If you liked the game packaging back then, do you think it was a waste? Did you enjoy it? I just liked having the choice, right? And don't get me wrong, I got a Steam account, 140 plus games, I'm digital in a lot of ways. Vita, I'm pretty much digital. Nintendo 3DS, I like collecting the cards. And part of that is guilt from previous piracy. On the DS, I had a pirate cart, and I didn't buy a lot of games. 3DS, I've been buying all my games, and again, out of guilt, buying the back catalog for my DS games, which I'll show in another video. But you basically got the whole pen and paper D&D role-playing rule set in the Neverwinter Nights manual, which is awesome. Two other quick examples of 1990s era, and again, the 80s stuff is downstairs, so with my broken ankle, I didn't want to grab that stuff because it's a pain in the ass. But here's two examples. Probably my all-time favorite space 4x game, Master of Orion 2. The manual, 161-page fucking behemoth of awesomeness. Everything, all the text, everything was in here. Full manual, look at that. Another one of my favorite games from, I think the first game was '89. I was my senior graduating year in high school, Warlords. This is Warlords 2 Deluxe. But I remember playing Warlords in, we had two Commodore Amiga 500s. No, sorry, a Commodore 2000 and a Commodore Amiga 500. And we played Warlords almost every lunch. It was awesome. This was Warlords 2 Deluxe, which again had an awesome tool set, and a lot of this manual is dedicated to the tool set, to commands. Not a lot of great artwork in here, but it's a big manual. Let's fast forward a little bit. So what are the typical games in the 2000s, or the aughts, whatever the fuck you call them? Final Fantasy 12. I mentioned in another video, this was the game that got me into JRPGs. Alright. PlayStation 2, still decent manual, right? First thing you notice though is, look, it's gotten way thinner than the 90s, right? 42 pages. So that's 25 to 50% the size, not just in surface area, but in terms of volume of pages, right? That games in the 90s had. And yet, it's still, I mean, it got across the basics, right? But gone is the awesome artwork, some little thumbnail screenshots in there. Showed you Diablo 1, let's take a look at Diablo 3. How's that changed? Cover still opens, you know, artwork's awesome in there. But when we go inside, same thing. Look at the manual. And what is this one? It's about 12 pages. Yeah, I think 12. A couple of good pieces of artwork, right? Color, so it's glossier. But, and we take a look at the difference here. Let's just compare and contrast. Look at that. What a difference, eh? Holy shit. I mean, literally. Massive, huge difference. And going from PS2 to PS3, another one of my favorite games, Dark Souls. Holy shit, Monday, Dark Souls 2. Can't fucking wait. Beeline that shit. And then PC version, I think, in April. So, here's the manual. And in Canada, manuals have to be half French, half English. So, it's a hell of a lot thicker than it really would be. But I'm thinking 5 pages. 5 pages. That's it. 5 fucking pages. Thanks. That's the PS3. What about current gen? Let's take a look here. 3DS. Etrian Untold. And again, I got a lot of digital games. Vita. But I like collecting the originals for the 3DS. So here's 3DS. And of course, I don't have it with me, but Etrian Odyssey 1, 2, and 3 for the DS had big manuals, and I would say on par with like the Diablo 3 manual that I showed. All right, about 12, 15 pages. This is Etrian for the 3DS. Nothing. Cart, Nintendo Club pamphlet, plastic case. That's it. Let me know your thoughts. I'm curious what you guys think about modern packaging. You think there's still a place? Just collectors? Is that fine? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think. Or should everything go digital? Because I guess ultimately that's what it's about, isn't it? It's paper material product versus digital. And having a manual on Steam or being able to hold it in your hand. Curious what everybody thinks. But anyway, shocking, eh? How much it's changed.